You know, tragedy can either devastate you or inspire you to greater heights. And such is the story of John Pasquale, otherwise known as Soho Johnny, and his creation, Let Me Help. And so, Johnny, nice to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me on the show today, Carlos. Much blessings.
Yes, thank you. So what is Let Me Help all about?
Let Me Help Inc., I-N-C at the end, letmehelpinc.org is the website. Is a foundation that I helped found last year, and I had it on the shelf because I was, I'm a producer and I've been producing shows with artists and raising money for cancer because years ago I lost my dad to cancer. Mm-hmm. And then I said, let me ramp it up because earlier this last year, I lost my mom to COVID. And just like I did with my dad, it just gave me inspiration. It says, let me, if you do nothing, then nothing gets done. So I took this foundation off the shelf and I finished the paperwork with it. And I started Let Me Help Inc. And I'm starting to do more shows in the Soho Johnny platform, but letmehelpinc.org. And it's been a wonderful ride and so much blessings, when you combine music, which I consider the tie that binds us all together. There's no politics, there's no diversity, entertainment, that umbilical cord of taking people away from their lives, no matter what's going on in their lives, putting a smile on their face, combining it to charity has been a trifecta for me and what I've been doing and has opened up so many doors throughout the channels of my life.
I hear you say that, and it strikes me as, wow, this is tremendous what you're doing to kind of extend yourself to the community to help them out, those people who might be grieving. But Johnny, I got to think that this came from your family. Somewhere deep in your family, there was love for your neighbor. Tell me about that.
Well, listen, it's really not about me. My journey was just organic. I call myself the accidental tourist, as they say, you're just dealing with life. And I'm just some kid behind a desk here in a real estate business in Soho, Manhattan. But I garner my sense of humility and humanity from my dad, who lived through the Depression, and his dad was an immigrant that came to the Soho area of Manhattan, which is ergo the name Soho Johnny was one of my nicknames at the time, SohoJohnny.com, my platform. But everybody would say kind words with him. I mean, he had that, it didn't matter what you had, what you didn't have, what your background was. Nobody would really say something bad about my pops. So that sense of humility, humanity I got from him. And my mom, my late mom, God bless her, she always had music in my household. And what I garnered from my mom was the sense of music and entertainment. I mean, remember when we were children, many of the listeners, when we were kids, you would play that, probably back in those days, vinyl, or maybe it wasn't vinyl for you, but you would play that song over and over and over and drive your parents crazy because you loved it.
Yeah, right? Over and over again. I remember.
But she instilled that wonderful feeling of entertainment and music. So I brought both worlds together, again, organically. I didn't have intentions of going in this direction. And, on this Soho Johnny platform, and Let Me Help, of course, to trying to give back. Let Me Help Inc. is a foundation, by the way, Carlos, because I didn't know this myself. Everybody knows charities, like I raise money for American Cancer Society. It's great to do that, but it can only be for cancer. Why I did the foundation is that you could pivot. It could be something for COVID. It could be something for prostate cancer, which we did. We just did a virtual show because of COVID, November 24th. And my dream team, I mean, all I am is that little bulldog figure on the front of a Mack truck hood, okay? I can't take credit for this. It's my dream team that I'm blessed to have. My mentors like John Valesco and all these other people, Eileen, as the list goes on.
I mean, that show you had John Mellencamp, Slash, Ozzy, Jeff Goldblum, Cedric the Entertainer. I mean, it's a who's who of your world.
And they all either allowed footage or shout outs to us to the Let Me Help Foundation, just out of respect for me or my team, or did performances. And the list goes on. Tommy James, remember Tommy James in the
Shondells, yeah.
Rick Wakeman, Journey to the Center of the Earth. They used to play.
John Lodge from the Moody Blues.
John Lodge from the Moody Blues. Yeah. And, Patrick Stewart, footage for Patrick Stewart, as you said, Ozzy Osbourne.
So what's the hope? What's the view? What's the long view of what you'd like to do with Let Me Help?
For those listeners that, and of course we're dating ourselves again, do you remember the late, great Jerry Lewis? Okay.
Of course, yeah.
And
Smile.
I remember staying up. I used to remember staying up when he had that telethon. I don't forget if it was muscular dystrophy.
Yeah, muscular dystrophy. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if he did it for 48 hours. He gave no sleep. And because of influence, the entertainment business, you can have someone like Frank Sinatra show up at 1 o'clock in the morning and give a performance. So, when I think about that, that's the first thing that comes to my mind, because and I'm collaborating with a lot of key people and organizations right now for something very, very close to like a Live Aid or a, We Are the World, and have some, some great things going on. And again, I'm just blessed to be able to do this and produce the shows. And of course, it's not only about charity, there's the business part of it as well as we promote artists, and, we sometimes connect artists to a multinational corporation like Coca-Cola with our partner, Maurice Hamilton at SMC Group. But, all these doors open up, when you put good out there. I mean, it redefined to me what we hear so much in our life. When you give is when you truly receive. Like, I always heard that in my life until I got involved doing this, did it take a new meaning with me. Because it's the love that you get. I mean, in my opinion, these are the type of things you want to look back on your life when you're towards the end of your life. That's going to elevate you. And I really believe that is the ethics of humanity.
Well, Soho Johnny, you're an inspiration, and I appreciate you sharing all of that with us. Again, it's letmehelpinc.org, where you can listen to what he's got to say and participate in any way you want. Soho Johnny, so good to talk to you. Thanks so much for spending time with us.
Thank you so much, sohojohnny.com. And just join our email list, everybody. We're happy to hear from everybody and keep everybody informed. Carlos, thank you. And just quick before we end, just a shout out to you and Lisa for the show that you're doing, because you're keeping the light on in these trying times, and that's important. So I applaud you about what you're doing, and thank you.
Well, that's very sweet of you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. God bless. Take care.